Illinois is one of the most visited states in America, but almost every visitor only ever sees Chicago. Before you book anything, here is everything you actually need to know about the whole state. We are covering getting around, the best regions from Starved Rock to Route 66 to Southern Illinois wine country, safety, real costs, the best time to visit, and the mistakes first-timers keep making. From the skyline of Chicago to the river bluffs of Starved Rock and the wine country of the South, Illinois packs far more variety into one state than most visitors expect. Save this video before you start booking flights, because we are answering the questions people actually search before planning an Illinois trip. Let us start with getting around, since most visitors only ever experience Chicago and never realize how much the rest of the state actually offers. O'Hare and Midway both serve Chicago with extensive connections, while smaller regional airports in Springfield and Peoria serve central and downstate Illinois more directly. Chicago's public transit, the L train and bus system, is genuinely excellent. A rental car within the city itself is largely unnecessary and often a hassle. Once you leave Chicago, a rental car becomes essential. Downstate Illinois was built around driving, and small towns are simply not connected by transit. Amtrak connects Chicago to Springfield, Carbondale, and other downstate cities along a reasonably frequent route, a relaxing alternative to driving if you are not renting a car the whole trip. Historic Route 66 begins in downtown Chicago and runs the length of the state, a genuinely iconic road trip corridor lined with classic Americana. The drive from Chicago to Southern Illinois' wine country takes about 5 hours. Plan a multi-day downstate loop rather than a rushed day trip. Rideshare apps are widely available in Chicago and work well for getting around, cheaper, and more convenient than traditional taxis in most cases. Winter driving downstate requires real caution. Snow and ice affect rural highways more than well-maintained interstates. Check road conditions before any winter drive. And note that Chicago's toll roads add up on a longer trip. An I-Pass transponder saves both time and money if you are driving any real distance around the metro area. Metra commuter rail connects Chicago's suburbs efficiently. Useful if your itinerary includes stops just outside the city proper. Renting a car in the suburbs rather than downtown Chicago often saves real money on daily parking and rental fees. Bus service through Megabus and Greyhound connects Chicago to downstate cities at a fraction of rental car cost, a genuinely useful budget option. And note that flying into Midway rather than O'Hare can sometimes save time if your hotel is on the city's south side. On to the best regions, and this is where most visitors are missing out since Illinois is so much bigger than its famous skyline. Starved Rock State Park delivers dramatic sandstone canyons and waterfalls along the Illinois River, one of the most underrated natural areas in the Midwest. Historic Route 66 crosses the entire state, delivering classic diners, roadside attractions, and small-town Americana along its original path. Southern Illinois' Shawnee Hills wine country offers rolling vineyards and dramatic rock formations at Garden of the Gods, a completely different Illinois from the flat prairie north. Springfield, the state capital, delivers deep Abraham Lincoln history. His home, tomb, and presidential library are all centered in one walkable historic district. Galena, in the state's far northwest corner, preserves a genuinely charming 19th century downtown, surrounded by rolling hills, a favorite weekend getaway. The Mississippi River towns along the state's western border, including Nauvoo and Alton, offer river bluffs and history most visitors never associate with Illinois. Peoria and the Central River Valley deliver a genuine slice of small city Midwestern life at a noticeably lower cost than Chicago. If this is your first downstate trip and you only have a few extra days, pairing Starved Rock with a Route 66 drive gives you the best contrast without excessive driving. And Amish country around Arthur and Arcola in central Illinois offers a genuinely different pace of life. Quilts, furniture, and homemade food from working Amish communities. The Quad Cities, straddling the Mississippi River on Illinois' western border, offer a genuinely underrated riverside city experience. Lake Shelbyville and other central Illinois lakes offer boating and fishing getaways within easy reach of Springfield or Champaign. Mathewson State Park, right next to Starved Rock, offers similarly dramatic canyon hiking with noticeably thinner crowds. The Chicago suburbs, including Oak Park with its Frank Lloyd Wright architecture, offer an easy half-day trip for design and history lovers. Now let us talk safety. Chicago's tourist and downtown areas are generally safe, though as with any major city, awareness of your surroundings matters more in some neighborhoods than others. Downstate Illinois is overwhelmingly low crime. Small towns and rural areas across the state are some of the safest destinations you will find anywhere in the country. Winter weather is a genuine safety consideration statewide. Sudden snowstorms can affect visibility and road conditions quickly. Check forecasts before any winter road trip. Solo travelers, including women, generally report feeling safe throughout the state, though standard city precautions apply late at night in unfamiliar Chicago neighborhoods. Emergency services are reliable statewide. Dial 911 for police, fire, or medical emergencies. Response times in the city and most downstate towns are fast and reliable. Tornado season, roughly April through June, brings genuine severe weather risk to Illinois. Know how to check local warnings if your trip falls during that window. Hiking safety matters at Starved Rock. Trails can be slick near waterfalls and cliff edges. Stay on marked paths and watch your footing near overlooks. Tap water is safe to drink throughout the state. One less thing to worry about whether you are in Chicago or a small downstate town. Overall, most visitors encounter nothing worse than a crowded L train or a slow-moving line at a popular trailhead. The state's tourist areas are extremely well set up for visitors. Boating safety matters on Illinois' lakes and rivers. Always wear a life jacket and check weather conditions before heading out. Rideshare apps are widely available in Chicago, a safer and more convenient option than hailing a cab late at night in an unfamiliar neighborhood. Severe thunderstorms are common across Illinois in spring and summer. Check forecasts before extended outdoor activity during storm season. Ice on downstate rural roads in winter can be less visible than on well-salted interstates. Drive cautiously on unfamiliar rural routes after a freeze. Let us get practical about cost. Chicago is one of the more expensive Midwest cities, but the moment you head downstate, prices drop significantly. Expect a mid-range Chicago hotel to run $150 to $300 a night, while a comparable hotel downstate often runs $60 to $100. A sit-down dinner for two in Chicago commonly runs $70 to $110 before tip, while the same quality meal downstate often costs 30 to 40% less. A realistic budget for a week, combining a Chicago stay with a downstate loop for two people, including mid-range hotels, a rental car, and meals, lands around $2,500 to $4,000 total. Wine tastings across southern Illinois' Shawnee Hills typically run $10 to $20 per winery, an affordable and often overlooked way to spend an afternoon. State park entry across Illinois is free at nearly every location, including Starved Rock, a genuinely rare and welcome feature compared to many other states. L-Train and bus fare in Chicago runs a flat rate per ride, and a weekly unlimited pass is worth it if you are staying more than 3 or 4 days. Parking in downtown Chicago is genuinely expensive. $30 to $50 a day at a garage. Factor that into your budget or rely on transit within the city. And sales tax in Chicago runs among the highest in the country and is added at checkout, not included in listed prices, so your final bill will be noticeably higher than the sticker price. Museum admission in Chicago runs $20 to $25 per person at major institutions, though several offer free or discounted admission days worth checking in advance. Grocery stores and diners downstate are noticeably cheaper than Chicago restaurants, worth stocking up if you are self-catering part of a downstate road trip. Farmers markets across downstate Illinois offer an affordable, high-quality way to eat well if you are self-catering part of a road trip. Craft brewery tours across Illinois typically run free to $15, an affordable and popular way to spend an afternoon downstate or in Chicago. So when is the best time to go? Fall, September through October, is widely considered the sweet spot statewide. Comfortable temperatures, and spectacular foliage across Starved Rock and southern Illinois. Summer, June through August, is peak season in Chicago and the best window for outdoor festivals, warm weather and long days along the lakefront. Spring, April through May, brings mild weather and thinner crowds citywide, though downstate hiking trails can still be muddy from snowmelt into early May. Winter is genuinely cold across the state. Holiday lights and ice skating in Chicago offer a festive draw, but outdoor downstate activities are limited that time of year. If you want Starved Rock's waterfalls at their fullest, aim for spring, when snowmelt and rain keep the canyon's seasonal falls flowing strongest. Major holidays like Thanksgiving and the weeks around Christmas bring the heaviest crowds and highest hotel prices to Chicago. Book well ahead if your trip overlaps with either. Whatever season you choose, book Chicago hotels and popular restaurant reservations well in advance. Demand in the city rarely eases up even outside the busiest months, and pack layers regardless of season. Illinois weather can shift quickly, especially in spring and fall when cold fronts move through fast. The Illinois State Fair, held every August in Springfield, draws crowds from across the region and is worth timing a visit around if classic Americana interests you. Route 66 festivals and car shows run throughout the summer along the historic corridor. Worth checking the calendar if classic cars interest you. Cherry blossom and spring bloom season along the Chicago lakefront draws its own quiet crowds, specifically for the flowering trees each April. On to the must-sees, starting with the Chicago skyline from Millennium Park or a Lake Michigan boat tour. The view that defines the American Midwest in the popular imagination. Starved Rock's canyon trails deliver waterfalls and river bluff views that rival much better-known national parks, especially striking after spring rain. The Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum in Springfield offers one of the most thorough and engaging presidential history exhibits in the country. Cahokia Mounds, near St. Louis, preserves the largest prehistoric earthwork complex north of Mexico, a genuinely underrated historic site most visitors have never heard of. Garden of the Gods, in the Shawnee National Forest, delivers dramatic rock formations and sweeping views most visitors never expect to find in Illinois. And the original Route 66 landmarks scattered across the state, from giant roadside statues to classic drive-in diners, deliver genuine nostalgic Americana. The Art Institute of Chicago anchors the city's museum campus, easily worth a full day for art lovers of any background. Metropolis, Illinois, home to a giant Superman statue, offers a genuinely quirky roadside stop most visitors never expect to find in the state. The Field Museum in Chicago houses one of the largest and most complete Tyrannosaurus Rex skeletons ever discovered. The 606 Elevated Trail in Chicago offers a genuinely unique way to see several neighborhoods on foot or bike, away from street-level traffic. A quick word on culture and etiquette. Chicago-style deep dish pizza and Italian beef sandwiches are genuine local institutions worth trying at a long-standing spot rather than a tourist trap. Tipping is expected throughout the state, 15 to 20% at restaurants and bars. Service workers rely on tips as a significant part of their income. Downstate Illinois moves at a noticeably slower, friendlier pace than Chicago. Small talk with locals in small towns is normal and genuinely welcomed. Midwest politeness runs deep here. Holding doors, saying "excuse me," and general friendliness toward strangers is the cultural norm across most of the state. And regional pride runs deep. Downstate Illinoisans often note they are not the same as Chicago, worth keeping in mind if you want to avoid an awkward conversation. Amish country etiquette matters if you visit central Illinois' Amish communities. Ask before photographing individuals and respect posted guidelines at farms and shops. Chicago hot dogs come with a very specific set of toppings, and locals take genuine pride in never adding ketchup, worth knowing before you order. Downstate diner culture runs deep. A classic roadside diner breakfast along Route 66 is one of the most authentic and affordable meals you can find anywhere in the state. Sports culture runs deep in Chicago. Catching a Cubs or White Sox game is a genuinely quintessential part of the local experience. Finally, the mistakes first-timers keep making. Number 1 is never leaving Chicago at all. Assuming the city is the whole trip means missing Starved Rock, Route 66, and the entire rest of the state. Number 2 is underestimating driving distances downstate. The state is longer than most visitors expect. Southern Illinois sits nearly a full day's drive from Chicago. Number 3 is renting a car for the Chicago portion of the trip. Parking costs and traffic make a car a liability downtown. Rent one only once you are ready to head downstate. Number 4 is skipping travel insurance or trip protection. Downstate winter and spring severe weather occasionally causes real travel delays worth having covered. And number 5 is trying to cram the whole state into a weekend. Illinois is genuinely bigger than it looks on a map. Pick 1 or 2 regions rather than attempting everything in one trip. Number 6 is not booking Chicago restaurant reservations far enough ahead. The city's best-known spots sell out weeks in advance during peak season. And number 7 is assuming all of Illinois is flat prairie. Southern Illinois' rock formations and river bluffs genuinely surprise visitors expecting only cornfields. Number 8 is forgetting that many downstate attractions close or reduce hours in the off-season. Always check ahead rather than assuming summer hours apply year-round. And number 9 is not budgeting extra time for Chicago traffic when heading to O'Hare. Rush hour delays can turn a short drive into a genuine flight risk. Number 10 is not checking whether a downstate attraction requires advance tickets. Popular spots like the Lincoln Museum can have long lines without one. And number 11 is skipping travel insurance given real seasonal weather risk. Worth having flexible cancellation coverage on any Illinois trip. If you are based in Chicago and want a taste of the rest of the state without committing to a full road trip, several destinations work well as day trips or quick overnights. Starved Rock is under 2 hours by car. An easy day trip for hiking and waterfall views without needing to plan an overnight stay. Galena, about 3 hours northwest, makes for a genuinely charming overnight escape into rolling hills and 19th century architecture. The Illinois Beach State Park, along Lake Michigan north of Chicago, offers an easy beach day escape without leaving the greater metro area. And Springfield, about 3 hours south, makes an easy overnight trip for Lincoln history without committing to a longer downstate loop. Volo Auto Museum, north of Chicago, pairs a classic car collection with a genuinely fun family outing for a half-day trip. And Woodstock, Illinois, with its picturesque town square, offers an easy day trip that inspired the film Groundhog Day. From Chicago, the Indiana Dunes are just across the state line and make an easy beach day escape without a long drive. So, who is a full Illinois trip actually best for? If you want the energy of a world-class city alongside genuine river canyons and rolling wine country, few states offer that much contrast in one trip. History buffs find an unusually dense concentration of significant sites, from Lincoln's Springfield to the prehistoric mounds of Cahokia, all within one state. Outdoor lovers get an underrated destination in Starved Rock and the Shawnee National Forest. Canyon hiking and rock formations most visitors never associate with the Midwest. Road trippers find one of the most nostalgic drives in the country along Illinois' stretch of historic Route 66. Families do well pairing a few Chicago days, museums and the lakefront, with a downstate stretch focused on hiking and simply slowing down. And if you are chasing a state that delivers both a genuine world-class city and surprising natural beauty in the same trip, Illinois' combination of Chicago and Starved Rock makes it one of the most underrated single-state trips in the country. Photographers find no shortage of subject matter, from the Chicago skyline to the canyons of Starved Rock, all within a single state's borders. And road trippers who love stopping at small towns along the way will find Illinois' back roads genuinely rewarding, each region feeling distinctly different from the last. And budget-conscious travelers find real value downstate. Hotels, food, and attractions all run noticeably cheaper than in Chicago proper. And architecture enthusiasts find Chicago alone worth the trip. One of the most celebrated skylines for design history anywhere in the country. That is everything you need to know before visiting Illinois in 2026. From Chicago to everything the rest of the state has to offer. Which region are you most excited to see? Starved Rock, Route 66, or Southern Illinois? Tell us in the comments below. If this guide helped you plan your trip, please like and subscribe for more honest, in-depth travel guides from our small channel. Thank you for watching, and aloha from Kahana Designs. Until next time, safe travels and sweet dreams.